Hey everybody, it's me, Pam, Dragon Moon Creations. Welcome back to my channel. I made another journal. This is the one I said that I had started a long time ago and I was going to finish. And I can't even remember when I started it, but I did. I finished it. Yesterday evening, and it is it's real simple. It's another one made out of a cereal box, and I'm sure it was either the corn checks or corn flakes or something like that. It's not very big. Let me see what the dimensions are. Let's see. It's about 5 3/8, almost 5.5 by about 8 and 5/8. Oh, excuse me. So, and I did cut it to size. The good thing about using the cereal boxes are you can adjust the size that you want. And this one, I think it's a 2-inch spine, I believe. Yeah, and that's a little bit bigger than what I think it needed to be. But it wasn't near big enough for as much stuff as I put in it, because it does that, what do they call that, alligator mouth, I think they call it. Not too bad though, not too bad. So the paper I used to cover it is I believe it was Newsworthy from Paper Studio at Hobby Lobby, and I kind of like the stripe part of it. I don't know, I did. But it does have that newsprint, like in between, you can see in between the stripes. And I did use a 5-hole binding on it. I just think 5 holes gives it a little more stability. I used some more of this, that Ada cloth that I had bought a big bolt of it for a couple of dollars at the local thrift store, one of our local thrift stores. And these chipboard pieces I had had for a very long time. I think they're, is it three birds? Anyway, I got them off HSN a long time ago. The whole set of everything. Now it's upside down. And, but I needed that corner. The way I had it in my head, I wanted that corner to be that way. And I like the little bit of pink in it. And this stamp, I had purchased some stamps from an Etsy seller, 100 of them, and that's where that came from. This stamp is one that I use my Fisker's handheld punch and made a bunch of these that I had seen somebody else doing. It's paper and cloth, so it's backed with muslin. Dictionary page. This little thingy right there, that is something I think I wanted it to print bigger, and I printed like 6 of these different styles, and they were all small, but I kept it. So I went through my stuff. And this is everything that I've had in my stash. And I like the little typewriter. I sound like my cats are going crazy in there. And this is Small Talk by Tim Holtz. What is it? Ideology. Yeah. Live, create, tell the story, be open to whatever comes next. I didn't do a lot of decorating inside. I did use some of the pockets and stuff, an ephemera that I had made a while back. I did put one on the first, on the inside cover, and this is still kind of stiff, because it needs to be worked, but I made this pocket, and I made this little envelope out of a book page, and the pocket is out of a book page, decorated with some dies that I had, and I did some sewing. And this is not one of those stamps that I had from that I ordered, but it was like on a sticker sheet or something that I had gotten. One of those mistakes that I ordered from China, and it's like, oh, well, that's not what I expected. Another one of the book corners, and this is a printout from Nick the Booksmith. If she posts a lot of her stuff over on Flickr, and you go over there and you can print it off. And I stamped it with may not have been that. I have a stamp that makes lines. That may have been from that Technique Tuesday stamp that I have right there. Anyway, I glued it all the way around. And I sewed some lace on the cover of each signature, because I used tea-dyed printed paper. And this is some more of that paper that I don't really care for. And I had this lace is actually, you can get this at Walmart. And I took it all off the roll and I tea-dyed all of it and then put it back on the roll and I use it off the roll. So I didn't put anything on the inside cover of this because I already had this. And the pages are just, it's regular copy paper that I have tea-dyed and did some, that's some stenciling, the stencil that I have, you know, of course the obligatory dictionary page, of which I have several. And then this is actually out of a vintage atlas that I had gotten at the library for free. Somebody had just dropped it off at the library. And it's pretty much, you know, I didn't put any lined paper in it. Here's the other part of that atlas. And my tea-dye turns out different. You know, everybody's tea-dye paper is going to turn out different because you're using different pans. And when, especially if you bake it, it's gonna pick up off of that whatever pan you're using. And this pan that gives me that particular effect right there is really old. So anyway, and then there's the middle of the signature. There's a little bit of room for expansion, but not much because my spine wasn't big enough. Either my spine wasn't big enough or I had too many pages. I think there are 12 pages in each signature. This is another one. This is one of those folded double pockets that I watched. Who was it? Gail Agostinelli. I think I watched her do that. And this one I left when I glued it down. I left that open. This is another printout that I had gotten some random place. I don't even remember. Used some washi tape and a little bit of lace, and now that's cloth lace, that's not nylon lace. And this is actually part of a luminary bag, and that's a long story. But, and then the guest check is from Walmart, and I like these because they already have the lines on the back, even though they're blue. And I used some washi tape to cover up where it says thank you on the back. And that was right after my surgery last year, you know, like in February last year. It's been about a year since I made these. And after I had watched a bunch of YouTube and saw people doing this, and I said, yeah, I'll do that. All right. Like I said, just, you know, ordinary stuff. In the middle, this is where my signature was, and on a 5-hole, this may not make any sense to you, and you may not even be interested, but on, usually on any signature that you're putting in, you try to start in the middle. And if you want your strings on the inside, you punch through to the outside first. And on this particular one, if you want all of the stitching here to show on the outside, at least this is how I've figured out to do it, go down through that one, back up through this one, down through this one, and then come back around, come back up through this one, down through this one, up through this one, down through this one, up through this one, and then bring it up, wrap it around this stitch and tie it. And I usually knot it 3 times. Okay, and I know probably a lot of people say, what did she just say? But anyway, it's a lot of writing space, and I don't like this paper either. I kind of like this paper, but I didn't like this paper at all. And I just tea-dyed it and said I'm going to use it in a journal. So I put another pocket here. This is one of my bookmarks that I make. Was my first set that I made for the library, and I kept a couple for myself. And, you know, you can stick it in your book. Like, you know, you'll be working in your journal, you can just stick it in there and use it for a bookmark. Yeah, looks like that. And this is another one of those book page folded pockets. And I glued it down all the way around. Did the same thing, did some paper and some washi and some lace. And this, I think somebody sent me a few of these little tags, and I just left it blank. Just stuck it in there. I didn't put anything in that pocket, but you can. And then I put this in here. Yeah. And then again, it's just, you know, randomness, a little more stenciling. And I like this particular one. It's postage stencil, and it's a great big, it's like an 8x10 stencil. And I got it from, I think I got that one from Wish. But then, same. There's another one of those maps. Each signature has a map in it, I believe. Maybe the middle one doesn't have a map. That's weird. Oh well, you got a couple of maps in there. And then, like that. Back here, I didn't want to put my thing on the back to mess with the cover, my stamp. So what I did was I stamped on some cardstock, like beige looking cardstock, and then I punched it out with a circle punch and glued it right there. If I thought about it, I would have put it over here or way over here, probably right here. That way I would have had room to put this pocket down here closer to the bottom, but I didn't. And this is a random thing I printed out. I don't even know where I got it, and I backed it with some cardstock. And this is a postcard that I had gotten whenever I attended the burying of a time capsule at our library, but this is actually our courthouse, historic Lewis County Courthouse. This is a very old picture of our courthouse. Right there it says Lewis County Courthouse, Western West Virginia, and I have a bunch of these. They were handing them out at that, like, please take them, and I probably took 10 or more, maybe a dozen. Anyway, that's my journal. I have a hard time, I will admit, I have a hard time. The reason I resist making my journals, even though I want to so badly, and it's on my list of 2020, you know, top 10 crafty things I want to do is, you know, develop as a journal maker. And I could never get my signature sewn in straight. And then I watched several videos, and this was my template for this one. And they said, I forget who it was, she said, always mark the top. So I did, and what I did with this, and I think it had been my mistake all along, is I was marking the spine. I was marking for the spine instead of the signature. You got to mark for the signature, and then however wide your signatures are, that determines where you punch your holes on the spine. Duh. And I think on this particular book, this middle one is just a little bit higher. You probably can't see it. It's just a little bit higher than the two beside of it. And I think that is because I had my paper turned upside down, and I had the top at the bottom and the bottom at the top, because there was a very slight difference. But anyway, not so much that anybody's gonna, you know, notice, and not so much that it messed up the fact that, you know, the signatures were all within the cover. But it's a very plump journal. I love the sound of tea-dyed paper. I love the crispy sound of tea-dyed paper. Anyway, there is my second journal. I think that I've completed this in a week. But this one was already pre-done. I had everything. I literally had the cover, you know, I had this paper on the cover. I had the signatures all done and all together, and I had picked out the ephemera. Didn't know what I was going to do to the cover, but it was done. It just wasn't put together. I just sewed the signatures in. I did use embroidery floss for this instead of crochet. I'll show you what I normally use and then what I did use. There's a slight difference in the size. I do have some waxed linen around here somewhere that I need to use. This is what I normally use. This embroidery crochet thread, and there's a ton of it on here, but this is what I actually used on this book, was the embroidery floss and not the crochet thread. There's a very, very slight difference in the size. See? A very slight difference in the size. Okay, and this is the needle that I used, and it's a wide hole needle. That's actually a tapestry, like you do crewel with crewel, crewel, crewel. It's another type of, kind of like embroidery. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later once I get another journal made. All right, bye.